Hey guys, this podcast is your gateway to the dynamic world of the eyeball economy, a space where startups, entrepreneurs, and professionals are building the next wave of innovation across gaming, ad tech, media tech, entertainment, and sports, or as we like to call it, GAMES. Each episode will bring you insights and stories from the brilliant minds shaping these industries. Leaders and visionaries creating products and companies that capture and hold our attention in a fast evolving digital landscape. For our inaugural episode, we are kicking things off with a true trailblazer in the world of ad tech, Adsolut Media. Over the years, Adsolut has established itself as one of Asia's fastest growing advertising networks, empowering the monetization journeys of thousands of video streaming apps, publishers, OTT platforms, and more. I'm your host, Vineet Mehta, and today I'm thrilled to be joined by the co founders of Adsolut Media, Aksh, Kush, and Rohit. Together, we'll explore their incredible journey, the challenges they've overcome, and how they're pushing the boundaries of what's possible in ad tech. Hey guys, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks, Vineet.
Thanks. Thanks, Mr. Vineet. Thank you. Thanks a lot for inviting us. And it's a pleasure to be with you again for a podcast after a couple of years. And I believe, your profile has changed, has gone across the ecosystem. You've pivoted to a lot of industries right now. And I would like to, gain more exposure through this podcast and understand how, we can move about.
Sounds good, man. I mean, we've known each other for a while, and I'm a huge fan of what you guys have built and continue to believe in the possibilities. So, very warm welcome to the Pressplay Podcast. Let's kick things off by talking about Absolute Media's journey, right? So, for the startup founders who are watching this, listening to this, they would love to know that in the eyeball economy or media tech or the streaming space, from that perspective, what inspired the inception of Absolute? Maybe Aksh, you want to kick things off, and
Sure.
then we can go around.
Sure. So we started our journey like 7 years, 7 or 8 years back, and it was started with a simple idea. And the word absolute itself, I know it's catchy and I know it's related to a few other things as well, but it just basically means advertising solutions. So that's what we've built, and that's what our steps have always been, that we look at how we can create different solutions, be it for buyers, be it for sellers, be it for consumers, so that the entire ecosystem of the ad environment, gets the benefit. When we started off Absolute, it was for a simple fact. Kush and I came together. Rohit joined us later. The entire vision was to create a product or a service that could help SMB publishers, small and medium business publishers, or let's say bloggers, in order to get through the entire programmatic journey. At that point of time, programmatic was also, at least in India, it was not that open, or it was not like an ecosystem. It was like two major places, Google and Facebook. That's about it. But since then, a lot of products came in, lot of companies came in. This entire, it became like a chain. And our motto, right, at that point of time, was to, help bloggers, help small content creators in getting through this journey, helping them understand the entire advertising space, and do all of the work for them, which comes into the money making environment, or let's say through the ad environment. For that, I think Kush created a couple of products overnight that could, that has gone a long way. We're still doing a lot of development, but yeah, so that's something, that's how we started. And the idea, in order to get this started, was Kush and I were just sitting on a casual night. He's also my brother. So we were all sitting, and we thought that, let's just start this off as a project and see how Kush and I can, somewhat move it. And in the next couple of months, we had a team flowing in, and we had 10 or 15 odd customers that were already signed up all through our inner close circle, and that's how the word of mouth came in. That's the biggest way any Indian or any local company can grow. We stuck with a small number of customers, and through the word of mouth. Now, for example, I'll give you a very small case. You go to any broadcaster, okay, let's say anyone in Noida. You work with them closely. You give them good customer success. You give them good monetization, a fair revenue share of the entire system, and through their word of mouth, all the other broadcasters will start signing up for your program. So this is what we've done.
Nice, nice. So, you know, let's go to Kush next. I guess maybe we'll also get into what exactly Absolute does and
Yep.
double click on that. But when you guys started, did you have a sense, Kush, on what product you want to build? Because amongst the three of you all, you are the technology guy.
Yeah, I mean,
So, what was your thinking on those lines?
yeah, I mean, when we started Adsolut, of course, for me, it was a new background or a new category which I had to understand first of all what is ad tech and what does ad tech does. Right, there are a lot of jargons like ad exchange, ad networks, SSPs, DSPs, and basically, I was here to understand that where we can basically help our publishers and advertisers to give them a solution where they can understand what is going right, what is going wrong, whether what I mean, what analytics can we give them to basically have a judgment, right, and give a decision making to them? That's what basically my task was at Adsolut, and that is what inspired me a lot because it was a new industry for me. I have to basically drill down all the points, understand how does the ad tech works and what is the methodology of this field. So that was more inspiring for me.
Okay, got it, got it. Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, Rohit, coming to you next. If you think about it, when you guys started, it was the very early days of video in India.
Right.
Now it's like 2025. We're talking about 2016, if I'm not mistaken, is when you guys started your journey.
Yeah.
So, Rohit, what was from your
From
perspective?
your
I mean,
perspective, I mean,
you had
you have
more of the experience with AdTech with Aksh in terms of working in a company, in an AdTech company,
Yes, I
and
believe.
how
I
did
think
how did that play a role?
yes. So Akshay and I started our career together in our previous organization. That's when we met, we understood, we had a compatibility of working together, and we understood that this is the industry that we want to be in, and we want to expand more into this line of business. When we joined, so when I joined Adsolut, I understood that at the moment, I think back in the days, we were focusing more on the display monetization product, and that is when the internet boom happened. Geo came in, and the internet pricing was so cheap that everyone was just consuming a lot of data on the internet. And we understood from that moment that from the regular text or let's say article based consumption, now the more consumption is going to start happening on the video side of business. That is when we try to focus more on the video side of business, and we built a couple of products around video only and try to focus only on video business going forward and until now. So we built video player solutions for web publishers, built the entire CMS platform so that publishers can bring in their own content from YouTube or any other content that they have, and can plug it into the video player and load pre-roll, mid-roll, post-roll ads on it. On a similar note, we started working with OTTs as well because that is where we thought the major consumption is going to happen in the future. OTT, CTV. So we started building products around OTTs and CTV monetization. As to I believe back in the days, the publishers were just dependent on a couple of ad platforms wherein they used to get their maximum revenues. What we did is we curated the entire demand stack on the back end, and we tried to offer publishers one single integration method in which the entire demand of the world were connected. And again, with the help of Kush, we built the entire monetization stack, which was at par with the industry standards. which used to always deliver, the maximum performance for the publishers. So I believe entry at the right time and at the right place helped us, to grow the video side of business exponentially in the India market. And as Aksh said, the news goes around. I mean, we started working with one of the premium OTT publishers in India. The news went around, and the others wanted to work with us as well. And today, I believe Adsolut is one of the companies who works with literally all the major AWOD, OTT plus CTV monetization publishers either here in the India, APAC, in the Middle East market. And we're trying to
Got
set
it.
a footprints in the other markets, replicating the strategies that we have used here in this market.
Got it. Got it. So I think, Rohit, that's an interesting point you made, right? Basically, that when you're starting out, a lot of the success is also linked to timing. It's obviously you need the right team, you need the right product, but the timing of it also has to almost be a perfect storm. So you guys
Yes,
made the bet of saying, okay, we'll do video advertising because that was the bet that video is going to grow exponentially. And let's talk a little bit more about interesting point about having that one customer that led to many customers because of word of mouth. You
correct.
want to double click, maybe Aksh, you want to share along with Rohit on you know how did that happen? Like, did that take
Sure,
time? What are the price dynamics? What are the challenges of getting the first two, three, four, five customers?
sure. So, uh, you know, uh, going back to the days that we started out, all of us were very young. We were just out of college, freshers, just understanding what to do next. Some people from my friend circle took the finance industry, some took the real estate. I don't know why I went into ad tech. It was a real different thing to do back then. And talking about video, we started video monetization at that point of time where consumers, consum- uh, consumers had only YouTube as a place to go and watch videos. Or at max, there was Daily. That is the point of time when we came in and we started giving video solutions to publishers so that they can empower and have their already engaged consumers get more of video content and through that make money. So all of these solutions plugged into one, given to a certain publisher. Okay, that is, let's say premium in a certain category, let's say news. And once you start working with them, that word of mouth plays a very important role. So those early days, I mean, when it comes to account management, I'm just giving you simple everyday things. If it comes to account management, all of us used to take care that this particular company's payment has to be done on time. This particular publisher's monetization has to be taken care effectively. The ads that are coming, the layout or the user experience that is coming up, survey feedback, all of that played a very important role, even if the publisher count is, let's say, one. And through all of that, of course, good things go around. These customers of ours has actually helped us in expanding. Till date, we've done zero marketing spends. We've even being an ad tech company or even being an advertising company, we have not spent anything on advertising.
Wow,
So that's how
wow.
I mean we've created.
And I guess Kush and Rohit next. Maybe start with Kush. What would you, at that time of your journey of starting out, what would you say was your key success metrics? What led to success? Obviously, Aksh mentioned about the service aspect, but on
Yeah.
the technology side of things, I'm sure there was a lot of pressure to make sure that the customers are serviced well. So how did that, what was your learning, I guess, which you implemented, which led to success?
I mean, we always, as a Absolute, as a team, and as a company, we always understand the client requirement, right? What are they looking for? For to give you an example, if we are creating a video widget or display widget, right, we should know that what are the UI UX of the website. We should respect that. We should respect that the page load should be on time, and all the other matrices, which we basically make sure that their page should not hang up or their page should not have any problem with our technology, right? And we also understand that we give them a lot of innovation on top of that. We never sell a simple things. We always do some innovations on top of that so that they can get a premium amount of CPM or revenue, right? Something like that. So this key, I mean, key point is to understand what client is saying. We understand that, we work on that, we do a lot of research on that, and then that's how we create a technology, because ultimately it will gonna run on the publisher website or the client website only, right? So that's how basically we do a thorough research on that.
Interesting, interesting. And Rohit, from your perspective, so I think if I see the three of you all, one of the great things is that co-founders, you guys gel and bond really well. And I think as a startup who has multiple co-founders, that's one of the when you're starting out, especially the you have to agree to disagree at times and not let that boil up. So I think you guys really manage. I've seen that with you guys. But one of the lessons from me, at least looking at you guys, which I like to share with other startups, is that when you have a founding team upfront, it's important to have the right chemistry when you're building a product. And I saw that with you guys. So which is great. Um, moving on to the next question, in terms of the trends of video advertising, right? Where do you see the video advertising space from an India perspective and then a global perspective? What do you see in 2025 and beyond as are the new trends? Maybe Aksh, you can start, then Rohit.
Sure. So, back then it was the era of ad networks, it was the era of publishers. Okay. It used to happen in all secrecy. Like there would be, let's say, an X person that has good source of advertisers, a Y person that has good source of supply, and they all connect and, you know, in all secrecy. But in I think early 2020s was the era of marketplaces across businesses, not just ad tech, across let's say across finance, across partners like Just Dial evolved, India Mart came in. There were many other places happening. Play Store evolved, the entire Apple App Store, and all of these strategies changed. So everything became more transparent, and that's since then. I mean, we've also evolved from being an ad network, and we started understanding how a marketplace can operate. A marketplace will not, so then our customers are not just publishers. Our customers are also advertisers. Our customers are tech partners. Our customers are, rich media companies, agencies, DSPs, advertisers. Suddenly, from having a one-to-one kind of a point of contact, let's say customers, it became one-to-many, and we had more sources of generating businesses. And that actually happened across all industries. It's not just ad tech, but through this, there was, as you mentioned, in 2025. I mean, this also happened in 24. There's been a lot of consolidation. People are now looking at strategic partnerships and not, just signing the agreement, getting started, and then pivoting to another partner in the next 3 months, which was the trend back then. Like you work with different vendors every 3 months and try to get the costs down. Right now, people are looking at more strategic partnerships in not having a secretive partnership, being all open about the hardships in an agency, or the hardships in an SSP, or the hardships in a publisher. They all discuss this and form and basically have a consolidation and work together of a certain project and generate results. And this has actually been driving revenues far more better than the ad network model, or the SSP model. Now, for example, all the major SSPs that are today competing with Google, are working with Google or competing with Google, are now believing in more of consolidation. They are actually giving more power to marketplace, to networks, to SSPs, to start getting in more strength in locally. Let's say for India, they will allow some customers in order to get more power, and through that, the entire marketplace or the entire exchange benefits. And that's how India as a market has grown. It's not just the international tech that came in and was the right fit for IPL. It needs a lot of people. It needs a lot of desi touch in understanding the connections, in understanding the ad market, in understanding the business. And that's how consolidations, or let's say strategic partnerships, help in evolving the entire industry.
Got it. Yeah, interesting. I mean, we do hear about a lot of consolidation happening with some of the international ad tech companies, and I'm sure that wave will is already coming and will start intensifying in India as well. But maybe Rohit, coming to you, uh, maybe share with us, your viewpoint on the CTV landscape. When you talk to your brands, as an agency, when you talk to brands and uh, the companies who are looking at CTV as the next level of growth, are they able to digest the additional cost associated? And what is that friction? And how do you resolve that?
So I believe, Vinith, here, if you understand from back in the days in the let's say 2015 or 16 to now, if you see, smart TVs have gone way cheaper. Now every alternate household they have a smart TV device. It's what the entry level smart TV price is, what, 10,000, 8,000 or 12,000 at max. Now, the accessibility to smart TV has increased, and obviously that will increase your overall CTV consumption as well. So there is enough inventory right now in the market, and if you think the consumer behavior right now has changed as well. Back in the past, they were just watching or consuming content on linear TV, cable channels. Right now, they want more personalized content. So either they'll go to YouTube and consume more content there, or else they'll go to any of the OTT or CTV platforms of those OTT channels, or they'll consume content on live TV sections of the TV sections. Now, if you understand, users want more options to consume more content. They are just not dependent. I just want to watch the content only on normal cable channel. They have more options. Internet is cheap. They have more options. They can watch whatever they want. And if you and because of this, there has been tremendous increase in CTV content consumptions of all the content creators. Now, if you see Hotstar, or you see Geo Cinema, if you see Z5, all of them here in the India market, their overall CTV in volumes have increased tremendously on a year-on-year basis. And since there are more users on the internet who are consuming content, obviously there's an opportunity to show an ad to them as well, because that is how the publishers want to make money as well. So there is down the line, I predict, and right now I believe there are about 40 million users right now in the India market who are consuming content on TV. It will exponentially increase in the future as well. Uh, and since right now you see there are more, I mean, as of now there are around 40 million users, we have an opportunity to to do a lot of customized targeting to all of these users on the CTV on the internet, and show personalized ads to each one of them. Now, if you see, I mean, if someone wants to show an ad to sports-based content, they can obviously target platforms like Geo Sports or Fan Code to show their ad. If someone wants to target regional content, there are many regional OTT players or CTV players in the south and the north part of India, like Sun Next or AHA OTT, or there are many others. So if you see, I mean, advertisers right now have numerous options to show personalized, or let's say more targeted ads and get more ROS on their spends on CTV at this point in time than ever before. So I believe I mean, if you ask me, you should always put your money on CTV because that is the largest screen ad. You get more brand visibility. I mean, I know about 10 to 15 ads that I've seen since this morning just on TV right now. So I recollect, I know all of them. So I think down the line, you should invest more on CTV. And the question to the brands would be right now in the future would be, how do you attribute that data? How do you have, I mean, if you're showing an ad on TV, is there a way to understand that, is there a way to target those same set of users on mobile devices or any other devices as well? Maybe right now, if you see, a lot of agencies are experimenting with innovative ad formats on CTV, maybe putting a QR code or putting their offers on CTV devices. I think everyone is trying to experiment more on the CTV experimentation, CTV, innovations as well. So that would a lot of innovations are going to come in the future on the CTV device, which will help the overall industry, the CTV market to grow exponentially.
Also, I have a thing to contribute. I was
Sure.
just reading on the internet the other day. Connected TV devices, someone quoted, is is much more performing than Google search or anything else right now. Is what people are backing on. That the impact of a TV ad, sourced digitally or not, does would have a more impact than a search ad or a social ad. So people are ready to invest more money. People are ready to bear that cost. TV companies itself are creating this ecosystem by lowering down their margins, by lowering down their selling prices, so that the customers can come in and leverage this experience, and we all can work together. It's just been 2 years that connected TV in India, or let's say the Middle East, has grown, and since then it has become more than 20% of our business operations. I mean, it plays a prominent role for a company like us. It does play a prominent role with all the agencies. Let's say 2 years back, maybe agencies did not have much expertise or much experience or an understanding about connected TV. They were relying more on case studies, but now they're able to, try it firsthand. They want to experience that. They want to know what the metrics come in, and then report to the advertiser. So people are actually going uh, ahead and experiencing this ecosystem.
Also, Vineet, I have a point here that seeing a TV landscape like that, even the top telecoms, right, whether it's international or India, they have been curating a lot of content packages for all the customers, right, a personalized content packages, so that basically they end up on more subscriptions, and basically more the user, more the content viewership will increase on that as well. And same with the spends will also increase. If you see on all the OTT and CTV platforms, right, they have been curating all the content on the interest based, right, which they are looking for on a regular basis, right. So that kind of a curation has been also be done on the smart TVs, right, so that they end up seeing the more content and they end up consuming more data on that same.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I mean, basically, we've seen also companies like this Door OS, which is offering a TV on a subscription. You buy the TV for a month, a very affordable rate. I think the 43-inch TV was around 11,000 rupees or lower, and then you pay a monthly subscription of 800 rupees or something to that effect, and you get access to 30 OTTs with one subscription price with a 12-month commitment. So I think it's a space that's ripe for innovation. Um, and also talking about CTVs, uh, you cannot talk about CTV and not talk about fast.
Yeah,
So
of course.
what is your,
Which is now which is now the case.
this is now the case, and I tell some of my friends in the industry that fast has been around in India for years. We just didn't call it fast, and now
Yeah.
it's called FAST. It's an American acronym, so
Mhm.
wow, it's like sexy again. But from a pure business point of view, how do you guys see the space? Because being in the industry, we know there are some technology and buying challenges linked to the fast ecosystem. So maybe that's a question for you, Aksh, to start, and then we'll go around. Let's
Sure.
spend some time talking about fast, because that's a hot topic of discussion, especially in the West. In India, it's like it's there. People don't keep it up as much, but it's worth a chat.
Sure. So fast channels itself have been, as you mentioned, it was present way back in 2019, 2020. It was just called live TV back then. All broadcasters had it. It was all present. But now, I mean, since the time it has been coming to TVs and partnerships, strategic partnerships with Samsung or LG or Amagi or anyone else, these guys have opened up doors to the TVs. So all of this has suddenly expanded. Publishers are ready to invest more when it comes to, of course, they're the ones who are bearing the costs that are associated in showing that kind of HD content to their customers every day through the support of ads. So ads essentially are playing a great role here right now. Of course, there's still more room to grow. A lot of broadcasters are still not able to, get in, at least in India, they're not able to get in the revenue versus cost angle. But there's still more time to grow, and there is still more adoption needed by brands and agencies in order to, completely expand this and create a CTV boom in India. A lot of companies, like I've been working with a couple of them very closely. We've seen that these guys are ready to innovate on a daily basis, so that at the end of the day, it gets a perfect fit for the advertiser, for the publisher, for the customer, and the entire viewership is seamless. We've seen how Samsung is growing in India. So I mean, if Samsung is ready to invest in a market like India on a daily basis, doing innovation or doing new partnerships, all of the companies should actively look into it.
And Kush, if from a technology point of view, do you want to just share quickly, what your viewpoint on fast is? I mean, when let's say an agency or a brand comes and says, I want to buy this particular spot on this fast channel, is it simple to activate? Because I know, there are some issues with open auction and fast and PG and fast. I mean, just share with us.
I mean, see, fast is meant to be a server-side integration of only your server-side calls, right? Where you don't want your streaming to be disturbed, or you don't want it to be hanged up, right? So it has to be on top of that. I mean, you have to have a good CDN provider. You have to have a good connection or a bandwidth, basically, to stream the fast channels. Of course, I mean, for content creators and content production houses, fast is something a good opportunity for them, because they can create content on the when they can sell it to Samsung or basically to any other providers, right? Who are if it's a lovable content, of course, the streaming will be more. If the streaming is more, of course, there will be more option on the fast channels, right? So, in terms of integration point of view and technology point of view, of course, it is very critical that you need to make sure that your ad should be within a certain period of seconds, 15 seconds or 10 seconds or 5 seconds. It cannot be more than 30 seconds. And there should be some technology, I mean, bandwidth over here, right, which basically streams it more faster.
Got it. Yeah, I think I mean, I guess the industry is a little bit fragmented, so there has to be some sort of a consolidation in terms of figuring out what is the right way to buy. Like what YouTube did for video overall, similar sort of breakthroughs need to happen with the fast ecosystem, which has not happened yet. But let's see what happens. Maybe this year, this is the year where some things change. Rohit, coming
I,
to you, I think Yeah, sorry,
I
please.
believe here, just to add one more point here. I mean, the market is very much fragmented in the fast environment. You see, whenever a publisher creates a website, they just create an account with AdSense, and then they get access to ads, right? It's pretty easy, pretty straightforward. They can monetize their property immediately and then make money out of it, and then focus only on the content creation and let Google handle the entire revenue monetization part. And once they grow, they can partner with companies, everyone in the market, and grow their ad revenues. But in case of fast, it is very difficult for a publisher to get into monetization from day one. But that now, if you understand the cost, I mean, they have the cost from day one, but then they are not able to monetize that property from day one itself. So that is the problem with fast right now. I mean, and I
Good
believe
point.
the line, either all the major SSPs or demand partners will have to figure out something for the individual fast content creators, so that there is something to offer to them as well. Because right now, if there's any fast publisher who is just getting about, let's say, 100,000, let's say 50,000 requests per month, they don't have any option. No SSP or no Google, no one will accept their inventory in the market. So they have to approach any resellers or any other partners in order to monetize their inventory. And with the limitations in monetization, the open auction support is so bad right now in the fast that the inventory does not get monetized at all. Or let's say if it does, then the fill rate is really pathetic. So there is, I'm not saying that it is not, the performance is not growing, but then there is some time. I mean, it will take some time for their entire industry to understand the fast environment, the agencies, the brands to understand the fast environment and start adding those inventory into their media plans as well. I mean, right now in India market, if you say fast again goes live on CTV environment. In India market, if you say most of the agencies, they either prefer the top alpha OTTs and CTV platforms. Apart from that, they just ignore the other rest of the fast channels. So individual fast channels again, it is a responsibility of agencies to make sure that they entertain newer inventory as well. Because if that inventory is being watched by any user, then obviously there is an interest, there is a niche audience who are watching those content. So if those they need to tap those audiences as well. In order to do that, they need to be wider and they need to have a wider acceptance to entertain such small scale fast players so that even they get the fair revenue share so that they can continue growing their content creation and be a part of the industry. That's what I believe personally.
Good point. No, good point. I think basically there is so much content out
Yeah,
there,
there. Yeah.
and there is a lot of content with a lot of eyeballs, but not every eyeball is being monetized because of whatever reasons, especially fast ecosystem. So yeah, good points. But also shows that how much of a growth is still remaining. We are
Of
still
course.
at the tip of the iceberg. So
Sure.
absolutely,
And I think
yeah.
people like Vineet are also helping promote fast channels across India and Middle East is what I've been following the newsletters and the posts on LinkedIn. So that's a great job from your end as well. But people need, to be available on the internet so that audience can understand. And that's a good role that you are playing for fast channels, not only in India, but also in Middle East right now. Great stuff.
Yeah, no, absolutely, man. I mean, we're trying to create the ecosystem. Obviously, it's a journey. Now, coming back, now just towards the end of the podcast, we've covered a lot of ground. Thanks for sharing a lot of insights on your journey, plus on the ecosystem, video tech, and the ad tech ecosystem are, I would say, two of very niche but complex ecosystems which are developing very quickly and changing very rapidly. So, in terms of building a company in this fast evolving, changing dynamic space, uh, what advice, let's start with Kush. What advice, Kush, would you give to new entrepreneurs and founders that want to build in the streaming space? Whether it's content, whether it's monetization, whether distribution, whether it's AI. AI. We haven't spoken about AI enough, but let's say that can take a whole different hours podcast. So we'll part that. But what would you give as an advice? You've been running Adsolut. You guys have been running Adsolut for 7, 8 years now.
Yeah.
So what advice would you give new entrepreneurs?
I mean, from Absolute, and what I've learned is that you need to constantly pivot as per the market, right? Whatever the market is looking for, I mean, you have to basically build that solution for your publishers and clients, right? Also, you need to understand that whenever you're building something, right, of course, you need to have a cost maintained to it. You need to make sure that everything is in place, right? You cannot just develop and then you scrap the product, right? It has to work basically for a bootstrap company to understand that the technology is profitable for both the sides, right? So you have to have a good research work. You need to pivot every time as per the market, and you need to understand what your client is saying. That is a major.
Okay, great point. So pivot and understand the market, and
Product
also
market fit. Yeah.
product market fit and your profitability aspect.
Yeah. Yes.
Awesome.
Correct.
Aksh, you.
So I believe, I mean, in running a business, there is only one essential thing, that's your customer. And if you're able to service them well, if you're able to service them the things that they don't know they need, but they will need it down the line, and you're already building towards it, that's when your company will, be successful. Believe in your customers, understand your customers, have great customer service, build a team around it, and build a team that gels with you well. Not, having people of different backgrounds, or let's say of different you know communication, have people that are well connected with each other, and that will actually help you scale, because the vision keeps transferring from a person to another. So that feeling is also that emotion is also passed in the circle.
No, awesome. I love what you said about believe in your customers. I think a lot of times we expect our customers to believe in us, but forget that it also works the other way. So that's a good one. Rohit?
I believe should always have a publisher first approach. I mean, the kind of industry that we are catering to right now, since we are between SSP and ad network at this point in time, it is our core responsibility to be a publisher first company. So we always make sure that we have a publisher first approach and focus on solving the problems your publishers have, and you should maintain very strong relationship with your publishers. If you have that, I mean, it is not mandatory to have 100 clients so that you can grow your company. You can have 20 clients and focus on solving their real problems and make sure that you are core part of their entire ecosystem. If you are able to do that, I believe success will come on the way.
No, awesome. I think within 10 minutes, we've pretty much have a startup MBA right here. So Kush spoke about profitability, product market fit, and the ability to pivot. Aksh highlighted customer centricity and believe in your customers and build a team that gels. And Rohit spoke about relationship building approach, especially with publishers. And less is more, right? So I think it's not, a lot of times as startups, we try and I've seen startups, they go after everything.
Yeah.
And, in that they lose the focus. So I think less is more is fantastic. And also becoming part of the core part of your customers' workflows. I think that's also something which you alluded to, where you become part of the ecosystem in a core way, where it's not easy for them to take you out of their ecosystem. It's becoming sticky. So fantastic, fantastic, guys. I mean, this is gold. This is literally gold for any startups out there that are building or thinking of starting up in 25 or are already building companies as we speak. Last question before we end. In terms of Absolute's growth strategy, you guys have come pretty far. I'm sure there's a long way to go as well. What's your growth strategy for 25? Any key milestones? Maybe start with Kosh and then Aksh and Rohit.
I mean, yeah, of course. I mean, this year we'll be launching a lot of new products, a lot of new solutions, a lot of innovations. I mean, this year is our year and always been our year since back also. But now we are more focusing on, of course, on the CTV side, on the fast channels. What we have discussed that whenever we see a loophole or whenever we see a barrier, right, we try to solve that thing. So, I mean, from Adsolut, you will be soon seeing solutions on fast channels.
Awesome. Music to my ears, Aksh.
So what I would say is, in order to have growth, I mean, of course, normal business comes into picture. Your customers should be expanding all towards the time. But after that, or let's say, like in a smaller environment, you should also focus upon micro events, local events, something like a Ram Mandir launch, or like a product launch for a brand, or like a brand ambassador launch I mean, for a brand, or let's say an auto launch. All of these things also play an important role when it comes to advertising. Something like movement advertising is the Amul story. So, I mean, people should understand that and take that into picture in programmatic and play around it in order to get, more revenues and more scale with your company.
Nice, nice. Rohit?
25 growth strategy for me would be to replicate the India strategy. I mean, whatever we have done in India market, we have curated the entire supply market and try to offer that piece to SSPs, exchanges, DSPs, which has helped us grow tremendously in the India market. We're trying to replicate the same model in the APAC and the other developed markets as well. So that's a growth strategy for us right now. Partner with like-minded publishers in those regions, partner with 10 to 15 publishers who have a similar set of inventory, and try to do something around it with the help of small-scale advertisers or agencies or SSPs in those markets. That's what we have in mind. And I'm quite hopeful. I mean, focusing on one region at a time always gives us an upper edge, because we are able to curate the supply that the agency or the brands want in those region, and are able to offer brands, let's say, I mean, so whenever an agency buys from open auction, they always have troubles with regards to buying the inventory. It's either the completion rate, CTR, viewability, brand safety, all of those are not are always have to be looked at. When they buy the same inventory through us, it becomes easier for them to buy the inventory, because we are able to take care of the of all the parts. So that's what we are trying to do. I mean, trying to expand into the international market, trying to focus on a couple of geos and curate supplies of OTT, CTVs, and web publishers. Let's say 10 to 15 supply from each of these verticals, and offer that as a curation to the agencies, and try to increase the overall performance for all those publishers. That's what we have in mind at this point.
Awesome, guys. That was a lot to unpack in the last 50 minutes or so. So just reiterating Adsolut's growth strategy, Kush spoke about the CTV fast pace and building solutions for fast. Aksh highlighted interesting point as well, where he said that it doesn't have to be only monetizing for large, big bang events, but also smaller events that has niche audiences can also mean value for the advertiser community. And Rohit spoke about the international expansion. So uh, looking forward to a rocking 2025. Thank you guys for your time for the Press Play's first podcast. Truly appreciate it, and
Thank
happy
you.
New Year again. And good luck, guys.
Thanks to you, man.
Thank
Thanks to you.
Thanks a lot,
Thank
Dinesh.
you.
Thank you. Bye.
Peace.